Hey man, hello and welcome to Relaxed Mel. This week we're going to be talking about one of the biggest mistakes we make. One of the sayings that you probably have always heard, the happy wife, happy life thing. That's probably going to be to a detriment to your marriage. And we're going to explain why on this week of episode 72 of the Relaxed Male. Hello and welcome to Relaxed Male, podcast that helps men change their relationship with themselves. I am your host, Brian, and I am a men's life and mindset coach who is here to help you understand that you don't have to suffer at your own expense. You can live your dream, and I encourage you to set, then pursue your goals. So join me as I change the mindset and attitudes of men so that they can be the leaders of their families and their destinies. Hey man, hello and welcome to Relaxed Mel. All right, so this week we are talking about something about with your marriage where we often hear happy life, happy wife, and we try so hard to do that, yet for some reason you're still failing. Why is that? And we're going to be talking about that. But before we do, I wanted to do a quick mention. The Operation Tears of the 22 group has an event that is coming up in August, and I'd love to put out a big invitation to all the guys, all the gals who've been in the service, who are veterans, to come on out, have a good time, forget about all the strife and problems that you have in your life, and cut loose for just a couple of days. That way you can relax and breathe and realize that life is good, and that's what we're wanting to do here at on Operation Tears of the 22, because every day we lose 22 of our veterans, and that's such a sad thing to do, such a heart-wrenching thing that causes that we ask our guys and gals to actually, put their life on the line, and then when they come home, we're just like, all right, congratulations, off you go, here you go, you're a civilian again. And they've done such a good job of making you a killing machine that they forget how to turn you back into a civilian and how to reintegrate into civilian life. And this is to help raise awareness for the 22 men and women that we lose every day to suicide. And we want to be able to find a way to be able to drop that number, get that number down, and to help guys understand and find a purpose, and to, like I said, be able to cut loose and embrace life and enjoy life to its fullest. So if you can, go to the Operation Tears of the 22 Facebook page. There you can actually like the page and get updates as to what's going on in the organization. And if you really want to go over to the events tab, you can also let them know that you're interested and that you're going to be going. And we will see you over at Bird Adventure Park down in Arkansas. We'll have a good time. There's Jeeps and food trucks, and I'm going to be speaking, and there's so much that's going to be going on there. It'll be just a chance to be able to just turn your brain off for just a little while, to be able to just enjoy life and not have to worry about so much of the weight on you that's holding you down and pressing down on your shoulders. You can just shrug a little bit and straighten that back and enjoy life just a little bit, at least for a couple of days. And maybe even while you're there, you might even be able to find a purpose and find a reason why to make sure that you open your eyes every single day, get out of bed, and enjoy what you're doing. So please feel free to go by the page, and let's help these guys out, because Rich and Matt both are doing the good Lord's work, and I would love to see their hard work become a roaring success. So guys, swing by there and support these guys because they really need it. Now, if this is your first time to the show, I appreciate you stopping by and having a listen and seeing what the Relaxed Male is all about. This is a podcast that helps men to find their passion, find their dream, pursue their dream, because when they're doing that, when they're following what their calling is,
their life is a lot easier. Their life is all those hard little nagging little instances and things in life that just really cause so much stress, all that friction, all that resistance falls away. It doesn't fall away. It becomes, it lubricates it a little bit. So it's not as tough, not as hard. And you might even actually enjoy the challenges, that come your way because of it. So each week, though, I like to have a question of the week. And the question of the week, if you are interested in actually asking a question, you can do so by going to relaxedmale.com/contact. Or if you like, you can also just send me an email by addressing it to Brian with a Y at relaxedmale.com. And that way it'll come right directly into my inbox. I'll answer it, and I'll even answer it back here on the show. If for whatever reason I don't have a question come in, then what I normally do is I'll jump over to Quora, because there's a lot of really good and interesting questions over there. And that's where this one comes from this week. And that is, why does toxic masculinity exist in our society? And if you know anything about me, that is such a wonderful, pressing word that just really most of the time just gets me going, ugh. But they're wondering why there is toxic masculinity. And the reason why we have something that people are trying to describe as toxic masculinity, though the term toxic masculinity doesn't actually exist. And that's because the term itself was just basically created by people who were really needing a boogeyman. They were needing to pin down their troubles on men, and a lot of people, now I'm not saying all folks blame men, but there are a certain little subsection that likes to try to pin all their problems on guys. And the term toxic masculinity came from that, and it's permeated into our society, and has caused a lot of people to really look at, well, why are men so toxic? What is it about men that make us so disagreeable and just can't seem to get along? And a lot of times they just say, well, if men were more like women, and sorry, but one, us dudes are not going to be like women. We are not capable of being women, unbeknownst to what another little subsection of life, of society would like for you to think. When you're a guy, you're a guy. You think like a guy. You have a certain way of thinking of stuff. While women, they think of the very same thing. They may look at an orange, and yeah, they may see an orange. We see an orange, but we're going to describe that orange in two completely different fashions. And it's not a bad thing. It's just biologically speaking, that's how we are. Men are born as men, and women are born as women. And it's not a fault of either one. But like I said, there are those who want to try to staunch and tamp down and minimize the power and the influence of a strong masculine presence, and try to keep boys from embracing that masculinity. And that they do so, sadly, to the detriment of the boys, because they are men and are becoming men. And when they are being told to question whether or not they're men or not, or soon to be men or boys together, that creates so much of a psychological problem that it's truly sad that people are trying to push masculinity and minimize masculinity as much as they do. But why does toxic masculinity actually exist, or what the problems are with men in the term that most of them use for toxic masculinity? There's actually two things really that have brought on this problem, where boys, we have, 20-year-old grown boys and not enough men. And that is, one, the no-fault divorce, where you can get married and you're like, oh, okay, well, you know what? I'm just really not feeling all this, this marriage with you thing. We're going to get a divorce. And they go to the judge, go, well, we'd like a divorce. Okay, sure. And away they go. With no fault, there's no full actual reason for that divorce to happen, so they can just split. There's nothing really binding that marriage together. instead of being told that, hey, you're going to have to work this out. That's just because you don't feel like marrying, then I guess you should have probably taken the time to inspect what you're liking or not liking about this guy and made a better decision, because sorry, you're tied to him. You made a vow to each other. They now you can easily just split and go your own way. And so that's causing a lot of problems with why kids are being brought up, being born into a loving family. And when they are 3, 4, 5, 6, 15, anywhere from birth to 18, somewhere in there, mom and dad just get tired of each other and split. And suddenly dad's not in the picture, because a lot of times mom's like, no, I know how to take care of this my child. You don't, and I'm not going to let you have any access. Sadly, that is a case of happening quite often. The other time is, there might be a problem where the guy's just not being in there, or he's completely given up. He's doing the whole men going their own way thing and have just given up on society and given up on their kid and given up on their sons and are walking away. And that, again, is to the detriment of the son. The other problem is government coming in and playing the financial part of the dad. Not that doesn't give dad a reason to hang around, doesn't give mom a reason to make sure dad stays around. When a divorce comes along, a lot of times it almost seems like the mom is using dad as a savings account, and she is trying to withdraw everything she possibly can. I've seen instances of where, guys actually do the same thing, but it's where everybody who gets a divorce, maybe mom is struggling real hard and she's trying to do what she can to bring ends to make sure all the bills are actually paid and stuff. And she struggles with that. And so the government comes in and goes, well, you know what? You don't have to worry about that deadbeat dad. We've got money for you. And in the means of entitlement programs and food stamps and things like that, she doesn't have to worry about trying to make sure dad stays in the picture. She's able to feed the kids if that's what she chooses to do, because, there are some moms who take those things. And it's not all, but there's a very, very small subset of women who, they are addicted and things like that. Those types of moms who got some type of addiction, and so they may sell their food stamps for money so they can feed their addiction. But because since the 60s all the way up till now, the no-fault divorces and the government coming in and providing the financial backing for a single mother, dads have been played to a smaller and smaller and smaller purpose. And with dads being more and more out of the picture, you're having boys who are growing up without a strong masculine presence. Mom is either busy trying to make her way in the world and maybe going out trying to find a boyfriend, somebody, something like that. And she's not paying attention to the kids as much as she needs. So the boys in the world are looking to other boys who are older, who also have never had a dad in their life, as to how they grow up. And those boys honestly don't have a clue. They don't have men in their lives. And so you've got a rolling, amplifying steamroller that's coming through. And now we have what's now known as toxic masculinity. That's why toxic masculinity, or the term for it, actually exists. It's because people have decided dads are not important. Well, you've taken dads out of the picture, and this is what you get. You get boys who don't know how to be men. You've got boys who are 25, 35, 45 years old, and they are not men. They are just grown boys. They are grown-ass boys, and they're not men in any form, fashion, or another, because men they provide for their family, for themselves. They don't rely on staying with mom to be and live in her basement until he gets tired of living there. Those types of people who are consumers and not producers, those are the ones who are evidently raised from a a family that doesn't have a strong masculine presence. And I even know times where those boys still have the dad in the picture, but the dad is not a strong masculine presence. He is, he goes to work, he comes home, and he doesn't really partake in son's life, or if he tries, mom jumps onto him and says, you're doing it all wrong. And mom wants to micromanage because, well, mom doesn't have respect for the guy. So for the husband and for the dad. And because there's no respect there, the boy doesn't get the strong masculine presence that the son really needs. And that's where that actually comes from. So now let's jump over onto the main topic. The main topic is happy life. There's the folly of the happy life, happy wife, happy life saying. And because we've tried this, we've all heard that, right? Happy wife, happy life. And typically, yeah, it sounds right. If your wife is not happy, mom is not happy, nobody's happy, type of thing. And we all understand that, but sadly we implement that phrase completely wrong. We end up becoming essentially little boys to the girl, to the wife, because we are too busy trying to just make her happy. And you'll understand here soon, but that is just taking your head and a brick wall and just smashing it against a brick wall repeatedly, hoping that eventually you're going to make your way through there. So how do you make a happy wife? Well, first off, you can't make a wife happy. You can't make your girlfriend, you can't make anybody other than yourself happy. Your emotions are just that. They're your emotions. They're not your wife's emotions. Your emotions are not your son's emotions. Your emotions are not your mom's or your dad's or your boss's. They're nobody else's emotions but your own. You are the only one who can actually feel your emotions. You are the only one who can actually experience those emotions. You are the only one who can choose what emotion to actually have, because emotions are a product of a thought. Your thoughts to a particular circumstance create the emotions that you feel. And because of those emotions, you choose certain actions to enact, and those actions cause your results. So if you are having a cruddy day, you're thinking that you're having some type of thought where, like, maybe you were at a business meeting and you completely flubbed. You called the boss the wrong name for the past 2 hours, and you get finished and you come out and it dawns on you, oh no, that's why he looked at me. So I am the biggest flipping moron on the face of the earth. Oh my God, I can't believe I just did that. And you've got this story that you're telling. You have this thought. So you become angry at yourself, or maybe you become angry at your partner that you were supposed to be doing the meeting with, and the partner never said anything, that you just kept repeatedly calling Jonathan Jimmy, and you were like, oh my gosh, why did I, or maybe kind of like that Snickers commercial where your guy is in for an interview and calls him Mr. Dumbass, and it's, so Mr. Dumbass, when can I start my job? I would love to work here at Dumbass Incorporated. And the guy leans forward and goes, it's Dumas. And you realize, oh, okay, it's spelled D-U-M-A-S. Which, if you're from the Texas Panhandle, you pronounce that Dumas instead of Dumas, but still. Anyhow, so you beat yourself up over whatever those emotions, whatever thoughts you were having. Those thoughts create your emotions. So you might be angry at your partner for him dropping the ball and telling you that you're saying the wrong word, calling the owner of the company by the wrong name. You may be angry at yourself. You may be, distraught over the fact that you just lost a big deal because over saying the wrong name over and over and over. Those thoughts are, and how you choose to look at those thoughts are completely up to you. How you choose to look at a particular circumstance. That could be a learning experience. That could be not. Great example I've used before is go to a movie. You watch the exact same movie with your best friend. Y'all at the exact same time. Y'all go in at the same time. Y'all walk out at the same time, and you have the thought that this is probably the best movie ever made, and you loved all the action and the humor was great, and your friend comes out and goes, dude, that movie sucked. And because you are both having have both seen the same movie, the situation, the circumstance is that you've seen the movie. Y'all have watched a movie together. The thought was you thought it was a great movie. Your friend's thought is it was a terrible movie. And so the fact that y'all both have seen the same thing, had the same thing happen, doesn't mean y'all are going to have the exact same emotion. Well, that's why you can't make another person happy, because you can do something. Maybe you've gone off and you bought her a bouquet of flowers and you gave it to her, and your wife could receive the flowers and go, "Oh, he screwed up someplace, didn't he? He done really messed up somewhere. What did he do?" And that could be the thought that she has. It may not be true. You may have just bought it just because you saw the flowers and you thought they were beautiful. But she's going to, when you show up at home later on that day, she's going to go, "All right, so what'd you do?" And she's going to be angry. She's going to be mad. But she could also take them and view them and see, "Oh, well, he loves me," and you'd come home, she could be just wrapped in nothing but a big old bow and greet you at the door with looking like that. It could be, there's a whole series of different ways that an event could play out. And the reason why is because your emotions are your emotions. Your wife's emotions are her emotions. So how do you help her to become happy and be happy? One of the biggest ways is that y'all need to have mutual respect for each other. Now, how you do that is through your actions. How do you actually, is something's needing to be done? Are you going to go through? Are you going to do it? Or are you out of integrity and by saying, "Hey, I'm going to do this," and 4 months down the road you still haven't done this, and you keep telling her, "Well, I'm going to get around to it one day. I'm going to get around to it," when in all reality you're not ever going to get around to it. One of the best ways that you can actually build respect is by doing things and do what you actually say you're going to do. Don't say you're going to do it and then not do it. And because of that, if you don't, she doesn't have a reason to believe what you're going to say. She doesn't have the trust that is involved for respect to actually grow. Trust is one of those fertilizers for love and respect in a marriage. And you've got to have that base of trust to be able to, for anything else in a marriage to really grow. So if you're going to say you're going to do something, do it. If you're going to mow the lawn on Saturday morning, then why not get up in Saturday morning, bright and early, get out there, get it done when it's nice and cool, if it's during the summer. And that way it's done. It's out of the way. And she didn't have to tell you. She didn't have to bark at you. If you needed to say, hang some pictures, then get over there and hang the pictures. If you say you're going to do something, you have to do that. That builds that level of trust. But it also doesn't mean that you are to be going off doing her every whim and bidding of you. Because, again, she's just like any other human. You sit there and try to be the nice guy. Being that nice guy is going to destroy all respect, because you're not having your own thoughts. You're not having your own actions. You're not having your own drive. She's standing around, having to micromanage so that you actually get what she wants done. And when she has somebody who she's having to lord over, and someone who she doesn't respect enough to have even thoughts, let them have their own thoughts. And you don't even respect yourself enough to have your own thoughts, express your own thoughts, and have those uncomfortable discussions that you may have to have at sometimes. Guess what? She's not going to have any type of respect. And without that respect, she's not going to have those building blocks, because women need to be able to feel safe and secure. And another one is they need to feel that they've been heard. So with that line of thinking, you're not going to, being a yes dear type of guy, where you're walking around, she says something, "Hey, go do this," and you're like, "Yes, dear," and scurrying off to do that. That's a good way for her to decide, you know what, I like this biker dude over here. I'm going to hop on the back of his bike and ride off. Because those dangerous guys, it's not because they are quote unquote dangerous. The reason why is because they know how to take action. And that's one of the things a woman needs in their life, is a guy who is capable of taking action on his own, make his own decisions, and pull the trigger when something is needing to be done. Not stand around and go, "So what do you want for supper?" "Oh, I don't know. What do you want?" "Oh, I don't know. Do you want chicken?" "No, I'm not really feeling for chicken." "Well, okay. So what would you like?" "I don't know. Well, you choose." "Well, I tried to choose, so I really don't care. What would you like?" Instead, you go, "All right. Well," when she says you choose, "Okay. Well, we're going to go to Chicken's first." "I'm not really feeling chicken." "Well, yeah, you should have said something before I actually pulled the trigger and said we're getting chicken." And so I've done that with the wife a couple times. And so now she goes, well, I don't care. I'm just not feeling it for chicken, or I'm not feeling Chinese. I'm not feeling for Carl's Jr. You know, she'll put out stipulations. Well, anywhere but here and here and here. All right. Well, so we got those three, and I'll choose something from that's not those three. A lot of times it winds up being Sonic or Wendy's. Arby's is usually a good standby. But it's still, we have, you make the decision. When she says she wants you to make the decision, then by God, take that decision. Don't sit there and hem and haw and go, well, I don't know. Don't want to make sure I treat her. Well, she's giving you the permission to make the choice. She said, you choose. So dude, you choose. Don't sit there and hem and haw and be a spineless weenie, because that's not going to fix your problem at all. She's looking to you to be able to make a decision. And if you don't have the cojones to actually make that decision, well, then you're not going to have the cojones to make the decision when something really matters. So there's all those little tests. You can also build integrity with her by, through financial means. If you say y'all are trying to save money, but as soon as you get, $1,000 in the bank, you're off buying stuff for your bass boat. That's, you're not providing the financial security she needs. A woman needs for a man to provide. And provide also means for financial security, not just food on the table. So to be able to provide and give her the financial security she needs is one of those things that helps a woman to be able to feel safe in her marriage. So don't go off and be spending money all higgledy-piggledy, because it's not gonna help your case, and it's not going to build that trust. You're again out of integrity with her. Another way that you can actually help your wife to find her happiness is help her find her purpose. If she all of a sudden starts showing interest in, maybe she wants to do a little gardening, well, then find out what type of gardening is it just flowers? She wants the different types of flowers. Okay, well then get some books about the different types of flowers you kind of hear her mention about. She thinks the wisteria is a real pretty vine. Okay, then find some articles and things like that about how to raise wisteria bushes so they look nice, or maybe you want the wisteria. She wants the wisteria to cross over the sidewalk, so you're walking through this nice little rainfall of purple flowers. Then maybe you go out and you surprise her by making a archway where the wisteria can grow up and over. You can go out and you can hear you listen and pay attention to what she's talking about. You can pick up things that she's interested in. If she's wanting to, vegetable garden, then you may pick up like Jerry Baker's gardening book or something like that. And so you can help encourage her to be able to follow that line of thinking, so she can find that passion that really just lights her up. Maybe she wants to start trying painting and doesn't know where to go to start learning how to paint. Well, why don't you find a painting place that's at the local college that's doing a painting course, and go ahead and just get it paid for, and go, hey, sweetheart, here you go. I've got these dates. What date would be the best for you? And let her choose when she wants to go to these painting courses, and she can go and learn how to paint, say, landscapes or how to draw, comic book characters. Who knows what it is she would like to draw, but you can, and it doesn't really matter. It's just, if she's wanting to draw, wanting to paint, show interest in her interest. And that works in with your kids too. If you start seeing them showing interest in something, say you've got a son who really likes Call of Duty Modern Warfare or Warzone, then why don't you sit down and try playing Warzone with him? Yeah, you're going to get your butt smeared the first 50 times you play, but eventually about that 52nd time, you're actually going to kill somebody, and you're going to feel really good. And your son may actually cheer you when you point out, say, hey, I got 2 kills. And he'll give you a thumbs up, though he's already got 75 kills. So how do you have a happy wife so you can have that happy life? Well, not being the nice guy. Be a guy who, it doesn't mean you're going to be a bully. Just means you're going to be assertive. If you're saying you're going to do something, do it. But when you have something that needs to be done, then let her communicate that information to her. Hey, we're going to be doing this on Saturday, or hey, I need to be over here. I've got a camping trip scheduled with the guys 2 weeks from now. You want to communicate with her. It's not that you're asking permission. You're letting her know, you're keeping her in the loop. So if she plans something and you're all of a sudden taking off, she's not left high and dry. You've actually double checked and verified that, hey, she's in the loop. So it's not that you're disregarding her just as a person. You are letting her know, these are the plans that I have. She's going to let you know what her plans are and things like that. And y'all can navigate life together in a lot easier way if you are actually being an assertive communicator instead of just the passive aggressive or even a passive communicator, because those folks don't have any respect. So to have a happy wife, you need to have a relationship that has respect. You can build respect. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of getting uncomfortable and owning your dirt where places where you've dropped the ball. Dude, you're going to have to mention it. You're going to have to go, dude, or ma'am, sweetheart, I'm sorry, but I didn't do what I said I was going to do. And I am so sorry. I'm going to get that taken care of right now. Apologize. Point out how you're going to alleviate the problem, and then execute. You've got to get all that done before you're ever going to start having her understand that you are somebody who is worth having a respectable relationship with. You've got to take the first steps. She doesn't respect you. It's all on you. It's your dirt. You failed somewhere along the way. And that's fine. You can clean up your mess and make things whole. And in doing so, with her feeling safe, secure, and heard, she will actually start being a lot happier around you. Now, that last one, that heard, that's a tough one for us guys to do, especially us Mr. Fix-Its. We hear the wife talk about a problem. We instantly want to jump in there and start trying to take care of the issue. Well, we can do it this way, and we cut her off and we talk about what this type of solution we have. A lot of us, we want to jump in. We want to make sure we don't like our wives to be uncomfortable. We don't like them to have a bad day. We want them to have the best day possible. But that's impossible because we're wanting them to feel a certain way, and we can't make them feel that way. So when they have trouble with a thought, where they're thinking things in a way that's not conducive to having a happy wife, what you can do is you can actually sit down and talk. Now, I know, guys, all right, I hear you. Oh, God, you got to talk about feelings. No. You don't have to sit there and try to talk about feelings. As a matter of fact, what you can actually do is you can actually sit there and talk about nothing. You don't have to. She's the one who can actually go off, and she's able to talk. She's able to have the conversations. You are there asking questions. Hey, so what is this like? Oh, please tell me more about that. Why does that make you feel good? Feel bad? And you can talk. You can ask the questions, and she can talk and listen, and listen more, some more. Listen until you understand. When you can actually take what she said, summarize it back to her, and she goes, "Yeah, that's right. You've nailed it." If you can't do it that way, then you got to keep listening. Keep listening until you fully understand what it is that the issue that she's facing. When you're able to do that, she's going to start being able to know that you are actually taking the words that she says into you and fully understanding what it is she's facing. Because once you understand her, she will open the door up for you to be understood. So with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let you go. But right before I take off, I want to thank you for listening. If you have any questions, anything like that, you can shoot an email over to brian@relaxedmail.com. If you still got some openings available for the Brotherhood of Men, I'd love to have you in there. If you are running into some type of problem where you decided you want to improve yourself, you're wanting to make sure that you have the skills and not sure exactly how to get to that next level in your life. The Brotherhood of Men is a great men's group that can actually help you to help hold you accountable, help make sure that you take those steps that you said you were going to take. Say you wanted to improve the communication and the relationship with your wife, then the Brotherhood of Men can actually help you with that. We can actually provide different clues, tips, and ideas as to help you be able to take that step into the uncomfortable world that you're really facing against. You've got some type of fear, some type of barrier. You can actually take the lessons and the suggestions that the men who are in this group with you together and be able to provide a framework for what you're wanting to be able to accomplish. So if you're interested in this, please go over to relaxedmale.com/brotherhood and just join up, fill out the application, and I'll get a hold of you and we'll have a discussion and see when and where we can actually get you fit in. If you're facing like problems with a divorce and you're not sure exactly what you need to do to be able to get your life back together, the Brotherhood of Men is a great place that you can actually turn to for that help. So, all right. Also, if there's anything about this show that you really liked, or maybe you were listening with your elbow and you were thinking a good friend could really stand to hear this, then go off and share this out with them. Share this episode, share this whole show with your friend or family member, and let them know that, hey, this is something awesome that you probably would really benefit from, and just let them know. That way we can start growing our community even more. Once I start seeing that we've got to start getting questions and things like that in, I may even start looking at starting up a Facebook group or get some way for us community members to actually come in and actually start having a good, solid conversation with each other and start really that way we can start building better relationships and getting those friendships that us men desperately need, and be able to help us through whatever life happens to throw at us. So anyhow, guys, with that, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Thank you again for listening. We will talk to you next week on Thursday, actually. And we will talk to you then. All right. Till then, bye.